Commander Zexthor stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, watching the blue marble of Earth rotate peacefully below. His triple-jointed fingers drummed against the command console as he reviewed the invasion protocol for the 47th time. Everything was perfect. Everything was according to plan. "Begin the demonstration," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years of Galactic Council authority. The forward batteries of 300 warships charged simultaneously, their targeting systems locked onto the primitive human military installations scattered across the planet's surface. This was standard procedure, shock and awe followed by immediate surrender. The Council had perfected this method across 2,000 conquered worlds. The plasma cannons fired. Brilliant streams of superheated energy lanced through the atmosphere, striking military bases on 6 continents. Zexthor watched the tactical display with satisfaction as the strikes registered. Direct hits, complete vaporization, 0 survivors. The humans would receive their surrender terms within the hour, and by tomorrow Earth would be catalogued as Sector 7G, Mining Colony 2847. But the surrender transmission never came. Instead, something impossible appeared on the sensors. Launch signatures. Thousands of them. "Commander!" His tactical officer shrieked, his gill slits flaring in panic. "They're launching everything. Nuclear warheads, kinetic missiles, chemical propellants. By the ancestors, they're even launching combustion-based projectiles." Zexthor's blood ran cold. "Evasive maneuvers! Deploy countermeasures." The Armada scattered, but the humans had launched with such reckless abandon that evasion was nearly impossible. The first wave of missiles struck the outer perimeter ships. Nuclear explosions bloomed in the void, primitive, inefficient, and utterly devastating at close range. 17 ships vaporized instantly, but that was just the beginning. The kinetic missiles came next. Simple chunks of metal accelerated to tremendous speeds. They punched through shields designed to deflect energy weapons, tearing through hulls like paper. The galactic ships built for precision and efficiency had no armor to speak of. Why would they? No species had fought back in millennia. "They're not stopping," the tactical officer screamed. "They're launching from underground silos, submarines, aircraft, mobile platforms. They have weapons everywhere." Zexthor watched in horror as humanity unveiled an arsenal that defied all logic. Every nation, every military, every hidden stockpile, all firing at once. The humans weren't coordinating. They weren't following any strategic doctrine. They were simply unleashing everything they had in a blind, furious rage. A Krillian dreadnought exploded to his starboard side, struck by what the sensors identified as a railgun, a magnetic acceleration weapon so primitive it didn't even use plasma. Yet it had punched clean through the ship's core. "Return fire," Zexthor commanded. "Destroy their launch sites." The Armada opened up with everything they had, scorching the Earth's surface with plasma and particle beams. Cities burned, forests vaporized, oceans boiled, but still the missiles kept coming. Then came the suicide runs. Zexthor couldn't believe what he was seeing. Human spacecraft, civilian vessels, cargo haulers, even tourist shuttles were deliberately ramming his warships. They packed themselves with explosives and accelerated to maximum velocity, turning themselves into crude but effective kinetic weapons. "This is insanity," his second-in-command wailed. "They're killing themselves." "They're killing us," Zexthor corrected grimly, watching another cruiser disappear in a fireball. The battle, if it could be called that, raged for 18 hours. The Galactic Armada had superior technology, better shields, faster-than-light drives, but the humans had something the galaxy had forgotten: the absolute refusal to surrender. When Zexthor finally ordered the retreat, only 47 ships remained of his 300. The Eternal Dominion limped away from Earth, its hull scarred and systems failing. Behind them the planet burned, but its guns still fired, sending defiant missiles chasing after the fleeing Armada. On Earth, amidst the ruins of their cities and the ashes of their forests, humanity surveyed the damage. Billions dead, infrastructure destroyed, an entire generation's progress wiped away. The cost had been almost unthinkable, but they had won. In bunkers deep beneath the scorched surface, the surviving leaders gathered. General Sarah Morrison stood before the holographic display showing the retreating alien fleet, her face hard as stone. "They wanted to make an example of us," she said quietly. "They fired first, thinking we'd roll over like every other species in their empire." She turned to face the assembled representatives of Earth's nations, her eyes blazing with fierce determination. Let's make damn sure the galaxy remembers what happens when you fire on humanity. We might not have their fancy technology. We might not have their shields or their faster-than-light drives, but we have something they lost a long time ago. What's that? Asked the Chinese premier. Morrison smiled grimly. We have guns. Lots and lots of guns, and the will to use every last one of them. 10 light-years away, Zexthor broadcast his report to the Galactic Council, his voice shaking with trauma. Earth is unsuitable for colonization. Species classification hostile. Threat level extreme. Recommendation, quarantine the system. Never, under any circumstances, engage them again. The Council voted unanimously to accept his recommendation. In their vast archives next to the species entry for humans, they added a simple note that would remain there for 10,000 years. They have no honor in combat. No sense of proportional response. No respect for the rules of war. They will use any weapon, any tactic, any sacrifice. They are collectively insane. And beneath that, in smaller text, a warning that every council captain would come to memorize. If you fire on Earth, they will fire back with everything. And they always have more guns than you think. Back on the scarred surface of Earth, humanity began to rebuild. But this time they built with a new purpose. They had seen what was out there in the dark. They had learned they were not alone. And they would be ready when the galaxy came knocking again. This time they'd bring bigger guns.